Hello and welcome everyone to the latest installment of the Tola Data Feature Focus, where we help you become a Tola Data expert one video at a time. Now, we're really excited to be coming to you today because we're actually going to be showing off our recently deployed discussion feature, which we believe will transform the way that you and your team collaborate on our platform. So my name is Sive. You might recognize me from some previous feature focuses. I'll be providing a presentation on the feature today. But we also have our very talented product owner, Hilda, joining us today, who had a big hand in actually developing this feature, and she'll be doing the demonstration portion of it. So I'm really happy to be having her here. So thanks for joining. And I'd also like to recommend, thanks Hilda, if you have any questions or would like to be in touch with us toward the end of the session, I would highly recommend that you go to menti.com and input the following code to 9586956 so that you can use this opportunity to get in touch with myself and Hilda about this feature. And I'm sure as we're showing this feature off, some questions might pop up. So without further ado, I'm just going to launch right into the presentation because we have a lot to cover today. So I'm firstly going to be discussing about the discussion feature in just a nutshell. So what does it concretely do? So the discussion feature is a messaging tool that enables team members, so you and your team, and potentially maybe even some external members like donors or stakeholders, to communicate and share ideas directly on our platform. The feature itself is located in a variety of different locations across the platform. So this includes on the project details, indicator plan, indicator, and collected data value levels. So there's a lot of different spaces and forms for you to have these ideas and exchanges. And then finally, within this feature, users have an access to a variety of different dynamic functions. And this includes emojis, hyperlinks, app mentions, and email notifications. So we'll go into more depth very soon into these, but these are a lot of really handy and interactive features that we have included. So on our next slide here, I'll be just giving you a brief overview of where this particular feature is located on our system. So as you can see on the slide, there are some highlighted squares in green. So you'll firstly find this discussions tab. If you have also your Tola Data account open, if you select the details section, you'll see it maybe next to the sharing tab on that level. Under the indicator section, you'll see the tab next to the exportations tab. Then if we go further within the indicator itself, you'll see it next to the result summary tab. And then finally, under Add Collected Data, if you're in the Collected Data section of your indicator and you open up an already added collected data item, you'll also see a new tab that appears. And these are now all new spaces for you to start to engage and collaborate with your team members. Now, I wanted to go in a little bit about why this feature was created and/or some advantages of this feature. I've picked out 4 here, but these are kind of my personal 4. This is by no means an exhaustive list, but these are the aspects that I found quite important. So the first of which is that this feature helps centralize communication channels. Now, if you're working with many different forms of communication simultaneously, it can happen that key information can be lost. So if you're using maybe email threads, WhatsApp, SMS, it can happen that data silos start to appear unknowingly. You might leave an individual out of the loop who needs this key information. It can also be really difficult. For example, if you need to sift through all of this data and figure out the key bits of information, especially if you have dense emails trying to talk about a variety of different topics. But our discussion feature really responds to all of these different issues by really bringing it into one location so that your team can find all the information they need in an organized, structured way, all in one place. And this leads then into the second point that we have. So a major benefit of the discussion feature itself is how it is actually organized and located on the platform itself. Now, I had mentioned already, you can find this on the project details tab. You can find it on the indicator plan, indicator, and collected data item level. And then also within the different levels, you can also create threads. So you can further categorize discussions and the data when you're within these different sections and forums. And what this helps do is that it helps enable your team to quickly access data that they need. And also what this will allow them to do is maybe to check back over previous conversations. They can get up to speed. They can really feel as though they're on the same page as their team members. And then on top of that, by having this very structured and organized system for these discussions, this allows you and your team to be a lot more focused and direct when discussing particular topics or items. And this will allow you to have far more quick and efficient communication. And this, of course, then leads into the third item here. And again, the structure of the feature on the platform really helps facilitate and foster dynamic conversations and collaboration. Due to the fact that you have these different spaces of conversation on multiple levels, from the project down to the collected data item level, this allows you to have different types of conversations from the broad to the very specific. So for example, maybe on the project level, this could be a place where you could have a lot more general conversations or topics. So you could maybe have some announcements that you want there for everyone to see. You could share maybe best practices and learnings. And then perhaps if you want to be more specific with particular items, you can go to the indicator and collected data items, and you can exchange feedback on maybe particular indicators. You can perhaps remind people that they need to fill in some information. Or if you're a new person in the organization, this can be a really handy feature to maybe ask for help to complete a task or to fill in an indicator. So this opens up really the realms of possibilities of communication and really helps promote even better collaboration, especially if your team members are not with you in the office. And then finally, we have the fact that it can help strengthen security around your internal exchanges. Now, good exchanges and conversations are not going to happen in a place where people don't really feel safe to say what's on their mind or to reveal any company information. So this is why we've made sure that along with the discussion feature, we've ensured to inbuild our robust permission management so that you have control over who can access the discussion feature. So only those who have been provided explicit access to the discussions and to the projects in which these discussions are happening can engage, can view the information, and can contribute to the overall discussions, meaning that you have peace of mind over who can speak. So those are the 4 major benefits, according to me. Nextly, we will have an overview of the general layout of the discussion feature. So as you can see here, we have an example of a few comments. On the left and right, you'll see some of the key features of this or functionalities of this feature. So to begin with, we have the subject line. So this is really useful to include if you are a user and you're commenting and you anticipate maybe a lot of different replies to your comment. This can be a very handy way to organize this information under a particular idea or theme. So for example, here we might want to just see some feedback on a new indicator plan that has just been uploaded. Nextly, we have the username and timestamp. So this is just a very handy way of keeping on top of who's sent which comment at what given time. Then down below, you have text formatting. So if you're going to add a new comment, and maybe if you have a lot of content that you need to format, you can use the variety of different options here to make the font bold, to add bullet points, to indent it on the screen, whichever way helps you communicate your message better. Then on the right-hand side, you have the reply in thread. So this feature will allow you to reply to any comment or reply to directly respond to any question or feedback that has been contained in that comment. Underneath, you have the @mention notifications. Now, this in particular is a very, very useful feature. So @mention notifications allows you to specifically draw someone's attention. So say, for example, you wanted to remind someone to maybe fill out an indicator. If you @mention them and include their name, that person will immediately be sent an email so that they can come back and directly engage with your comment. So this will really help bring people together and help facilitate that collaboration. Underneath, we have hyperlinks, and this can be very useful if you want to quickly provide people with shortcuts to access documents that might be external, or also to maybe link them to another part of the platform. So you can copy the URL and then just paste it and embed it into the wording in your comment. And then finally, we have emojis. And this can really help liven up all of the comments and also to help communicate tone. Sometimes when you're messaging with just words, it might not be very clear on what tone you've delivered them, so they can be very useful. Now, on the next slide here, I just wanted to give you a brief idea of how the app mentions work in more detail. So as you saw on the last slide, once you have app mentioned someone, that person will be sent a notification. Now, above here, you'll see what that overview would look like. So you can see that you'd be sent an email by Tola Data, and you'll see that you have been mentioned in a comment. Now, to learn a bit more about this, you can click, of course, on the email, and you'll see something a bit like this, what you see in the center of the screen. So on the left-hand side, you can see that we've highlighted that the email will let you know where you've been mentioned. So you can see what project this has been in. If it's a specific indicator, you'll see what that is. So we can see that I was mentioned in Sustainable Cities program. This was in the number of public water pumps installed, and you can see who has actually mentioned you. Now, what's really useful as well about this specific email is that it's going to provide you a direct link to that specific comment, which means that you can then immediately jump right into the discussion once you've received this email. Now, also to add here, it's good if you if you're logged into Tola Data already. So if you haven't logged into Tola Data already, you'll just be invited to log into the platform once you click the wording here. But if you've already logged in, then you'll, as I said, immediately jump back into the conversation and can respond immediately to the comment that has been assigned to you. So with that, I think we should be moving to the demo portion. I think Hilda might be just organizing it on her end, so I'll quickly check to see if it's working. I think she might be encountering some technical difficulties, so we can just give her maybe a minute or two to come back on. If you'd like, in the meantime, I'd highly recommend that you open up your own Tola Data account and have a look at it yourself and play around, add some comments, mention people, get the questions going. So I think she just needs a moment more, and she'll be joining us now. I can see her appearing. Hi, Hilda. Whenever you've fully collected, let me know.
Thank you so much, Saif. Sorry about that. So I think we can start with the demo.
Perfect. Okay, great. So now we're going to head over to Hilda, and she's going to provide us a nice new demo of the feature. So I'll let you take it away. I'm going to remove the presentation from the screen here, and you can feel free to present now.
Thank you so much. So we're going to share about the discussion feature. We're going to show you how it looks like in the application. As Saifa said, it's a very neat feature to help increase collaboration within the organizations. And we hope that you have a lot of needs for this feature of discussion. So we'll get right into it. So within the Workflow Level 1 section, within the projects details here, we have a new tab called Discussions. Yes, Saif?
There we go. I think I hadn't had shared the screen. Apologies. You should be showing now, I think.
All right. Let me just stop sharing and share again. Are you able to see now?
Perfect. Yeah, I can see it now.
Awesome. Cool. So within the projects module that we have already in the application, in the details section, as Saif has mentioned, we have a new tab called discussions, where you can now actively discuss this entire project. So for example, if we have a new team member coming into the team and maybe they've not been added yet into the team for the project, then you can say, hi, Hilda, would you mind adding Peter into the project? And then we can save that message. So what we want to mention here is also that clicking enter, so after typing, clicking enter enters to the new line as opposed to saving. So please take a note of that. The other features that we have here is we have some form of text formatting. So that's really cool, because if you want to write something in bold or something in italics, then you can do that. You also see we have some form of validation, so you cannot save something that is empty. We can also add a subject. So for example, if you want it to be very specific and you want people to already get the context of the message before you put in the message, then you can already do that. So we can say maybe we have a discussion around files, for 2024. And then maybe we say here, please, let's all add files for this project with a focus of the year 2024. So if you have contracts to be added, or if you have documents to be added related to this project, then you can send that to your colleagues, and all colleagues will be able to see this. So the permission level on this is that everybody who has access to this project, school education project, for example, then will be able to see this message. So even if you're a view-only user in this project, then you will be able to see all messages. Everybody also can add a reply. Only the person who added the comment can edit it. So if I made a mistake and maybe now I wanted to mention myself, or maybe another team member, maybe we want to mention someone, you will put the @ sign, and then you'll see a drop down of all the team members who have access to this project, and you can select them, and then you can see now that their name is there, and you can add the message, kindly take care of this. And once you mention someone, the neat cool thing we've added is when you save this message, this person will actually get a notification email that looks something like this. So you will see that a title that you have been mentioned in a comment, you'll see it's from Data, and you'll see your name, dear Hilda, you've been mentioned in a comment, and these are the important sections that Saif was mentioning. So if it's a particular project, and if it is an indicator level, then you will see the indicator. You will not necessarily see the indicator at project level discussions. And then you'll see who has mentioned you. And we have a very nice link here. So which, if you select, you will actually see that you will be navigated into the application where the specific discussion was. If that message was deleted maybe beforehand, before you actually got a chance to see the message, then you'll be notified that the message was deleted once you have been navigated into the application. But so far, you can see it's trying to get into the application and navigating you into the specific message. And so that is what is going to happen. Then now let's go over to another section. We also have replies, as I mentioned before. And so anybody can reply to a certain message, whether old or current. And so if there is an older message here, I can select add reply in two ways. I can select that icon here, and I can select add reply. And I can add, okay, we'll do so. a message there, and we'll save. You can see that we now see a reply window on the right-hand side that gives you context. So you're able to see the message you're replying to at first, and you can see the replies that are there. And that is how it is. So these two sections now come up when you do want to add a reply. But if you're done with this, you can go ahead and close this window, and you can continue to check the other discussions. One last section of this is we have sorting order that we've added, because not everybody might want to see messages based on replies specifically. So what I mean is, a colleague of yours could have written a reply to an older message, but you want to see like the latest messages based on the main comments themselves and not particular replies that have already been done. And so you can do that by, this is the default setting. But if you only want to see just the comments, you can select this option, and by that you'll only see the comments and not specific replies. So the ordering of this list here will only be based on what is the latest comment that has been given. So now let's pop over to the indicators module so that I can show you how that works. So we have the same thing happening in the indicators module, just as in the workflow level 1 section. We have what we're calling active discussions. So basically just discussions happening in context. So you can see here under this workflow level 1 called School Education Project, we do have 3 indicators. 2 are non-aggregated, 1 is aggregated. What we've done here is that we've added the discussions part in all the indicators available. So whether you have qualitative, numeric, whatever kind of indicator you have, whether it is aggregated, non-aggregated, you should be able to see and have discussions within context of that specific indicator. So we'll pop right into an aggregated indicator and see how it looks now. So we have a third tab that we've added here called contributing indicators, which if you you can see is between the targets and disaggregations and results summary. So here is where we will have basically the indicators for this project. So if you want to discuss these indicators, the contributing indicators in discussions, then you can pop right into this tab, and you can have discussions right in this indicator. Otherwise, if we want to discuss a specific collected data item, then we can actually navigate into that collected data item. Allow me to go into this indicator and specifically select its collected data item tab. And at this point, if we want to have, let me just mention that because we're already here, if you do want to have discussions within the indicators, then we can see them at this discussion level, and you'll have those discussions specifically for this indicator at this level. You can see them here. So you can see there's this tab now. You can see that there's a previous comment that has already been added, but let's just pop right in and ask about this specific indicator. Maybe we want to say that this indicator does not have any data in it. Could someone please follow up on this? Sorry. And we can now save this, and this will be saved. And now this comment will be added. Someone can come right in and add a reply towards it. We also have this now section here. This is unique to the indicators module, simply because the indicators module has a hierarchical approach. So what I mean is that collected data items belong to an indicator, and in one project you can have several indicators belonging to that specific project. So we thought that it would be good to not only just have the discussions, but just to make it a little bit easier for you, you can see that the discussions at different collected data levels. And you can see that we already have a collected data item that has a discussion point in it. And you can see its details. You can see how many comments or replies in total that are there in that specific collected data item. And also we can see the latest message. So whether it is the latest message or the latest reply or response, then that is what we will see here. And we'll also see a very nice link here, return display comment in collected data item, which helps you to just quickly navigate into that collected data item and to see the discussions that are within that specific collected data item. So that is the biggest difference between discussions at project level and discussions at indicator level. So just to recap, just because the indicator level has specific hierarchical data, then that is why we introduced this specific section for the collected data level listings. And when you add a specific item within the collected data item, then you can see it here at indicator level. And further, even at indicator, all the indicators level where you can see all the indicators for this specific project, you will see a discussion tab. And within that, you can see that you can either have discussions within discussing all the indicators, discussing every aspect of this project from an indicator perspective. And also you have a list for discussions at indicator and collected data level. So you can see that there's a list of what is the latest message, either from a specific indicator or a specific collected data item. It will always show up here. And we'll see that the details provided are the indicator name, how many comments and replies that we'll have, and we'll see the message that has been sent, who has sent that message, which date they have sent it. And we can see that there's this nice link, which if we select it, we will follow it and it will take us to the specific indicator discussion tab and specific context where that discussion is already happening. So that if you want to reply, it's very quick to do that and it won't take so much time. So that is actually the discussion feature and what we have for you. So at this level, we can add and say there is an indicator that's missing in this project as an example. Then we can mention someone kindly, maybe let me just use myself as an example, kindly Hilda. Please add the indicator called education in Tanzania. And that way we'll be able to add this. Another neat way that you can use this is instead of the way I wrote education in Tanzania, if there's a specific maybe indicator within the organization, you can use already links here. So if that specific indicator was existing, you can also use that text here kind of, and then select this, put the link and put the link for that specific indicator here and save it. Once you do that, then people can have context, they can have those links ready and they can just navigate. So we tried to do all this navigation so that it's very easy for you to not get lost or to have to navigate into specific collected data items to look for the specific messages. And so we are very excited about this feature. We hope that we can use it as much as possible. We've tried to make it as flexible as possible so that you can use it within the indicators. We would love to hear your feedback about how you're using it and how it is impacting you positively. And also we are looking forward to extend this feature to the rest of the application. So thank you so much, Saif. That's all I had for you today.
Excellent. Okay, thank you so much, Hilda. That's very exciting stuff. So as I said, this is a great time for anyone who's watching who's curious about this feature, how it works, to get in touch with us now, to head over to www.menti.com and enter in that code that you see below, 29586956. If you have your smartphone with you, you can also use a QR code to also immediately get to the Q&A section. But yeah, feel free to send us in a question. I think we might have one already. So I'll have a quick peep. I'm going to leave this slide on the screen, but I might just ask the first question that I see. So I'll direct it at you, Hilda, as I'm reading them out. What if you are a view-only user? Can you still participate in discussion?
Thanks, Sai, for that question. Yes, definitely. If you're a view-only user, you can add a comment, you can participate in discussions, you can also add replies to people's comments. You can edit your own comment and delete your own comments. So yes, as a view-only user, this is the one feature that we have made very available for you in the application.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think actually another aspect I was thinking about the other day was, if you have people, I guess, that are external, maybe at some point in your project lifecycle, you have an evaluator coming in, maybe you have a donor coming in, you want to provide maybe temporary access and they get on the platform. Usually people would assign them to view only status, so they can not really engage with anything that you've done, but they can kind of simply view the information and evaluate from that perspective. But with this feature, this could be a great opportunity for you to work with them, for that conversation to be had in parallel, so that if they notice anything, you can immediately respond to any questions that they might have. And it really helps facilitate that relationship a lot stronger than if it's on a separate email thread. Okay, I see that Michael has just left a really nice comment. Thank you, Michael. I'll read it out here. Thank you so much for presenting the new discussion feature. Really useful for day-to-day interactions with colleagues. All the best, Michael. Thank you very much. Really happy to hear that. So I'm having a quick look back on our question screen. I don't think there is another one just yet. I'll wait another maybe 10 seconds just in case. There might be one popping in at the end. But in any case, if you do have questions and you might not have gotten to menti.com in time, that's no problem at all. You can, of course, feel free to just get in touch with us directly by sending a question to support@toladata.com. We'd be happy to answer your question there. You can get in touch with us on LinkedIn, many avenues. So don't worry if you are also watching back, as we say here. There's many different ways to be in touch, and we'd be happy to answer your questions at a later date. So if there are no additional questions that I see here, I think we can end the session. I think we're just about at time in any case. But thank you very much for joining, Hilda. It was great to see the nice interactive demo that you made.
Thank
you all for joining live, or if you're watching on playback. It was really great to show off our new feature, which, as we said, we think we can really help transform the way you collaborate with your team members. We're here for questions. We're here for feedback as well. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are. And in any case, we'll wish you a lovely day. And I guess till next time, we'll have another one in January coming up with the new feature we're going to release. So I'm sure if you're on our mailing list, you'll hear about that soon. So all the best, and I guess we'll be chatting to you soon. So bye-bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.